Exchanging glances, strangers in the night. Do 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 do. Scooby Dooby Doo. Ba dooby dooby. Doo. Yabba doo doo doo. Hey, Irene and Wolverine and Big Green. All right, Mod Squad showing up already. Let me guess, you guys probably got notified by Discord, right? I was just talking with Alpha. He contacted me via PM, and I guess we got some stuff. He's got some stuff in mind we'll be working on to beefing up the Discord membership. Yeah, Wolverine. Oh, well, over at the Goosh, I posted an update that they later yesterday they got my appeal and upheld and said, yeah, there was nothing wrong with the video. And darn, Philip. Philip, you're gonna like this. I'm glad you're here because I was just thinking about something I was gonna explain to you guys, and you know your knowledge of history, you can straighten me out if I'm wrong. But this is just amazing. Let me just finish saying hello. Anvu's here, and Farhan, and Mr. Badlands, and Dark Dingoes, and I lost my place. Mr. Shank, and Berries, and Furious Eye, and Daniel, and Call We Snowy. And Willie says, who pooped myself? Oh, wasn't me. I pooped myself. Erwin says, your offense offends me. Yeah, well, I'm living that one, Erwin. It's gotten, I mean, this is just getting insane. And the fact that people pay attention to these morons, the perpetually offended, those that are looking just for any reason to be offended. We'll probably have to explain it again as more people find their way here. But in case you guys aren't aware, first of all, you guys know what a huge Notre Dame football fan I am. That is my vibe. That's my thing. Well, some clowns did because why we would need to know this, I couldn't tell you anyway. Just for clicks, decided to do a survey on the most offensive mascots in college football or college athletics. And the Notre Dame leprechaun came in fourth. People are offended by a leprechaun. Despite what South Park says, they're not real. And in no way, shape, or form has Notre Dame ever looked to, or even has the thought been, that they're equating Irish people to leprechauns. It's that Ireland is supposedly the historical home of leprechauns. That's it. Nothing more. It's just like the people that have been upset over the years about calling the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Irish people who do not always just get in fights. Well, first of all, I know a lot of Irish people, and oh, yes, they do. But beyond that, and this is what I was talking about, Philip, and I should have looked this up first to make sure I'm right. If I'm remembering my history right, Notre Dame is a French reference. But if I'm remembering the history of the school properly, most of the early football team members were Irish. So they became the Fighting Irish, not because they were getting in fights in bars, because fighting was a term you use for on the football field. They were battlers on the field. It's the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And because they were the Fighting Irish, they had a lot of Irish players, and leprechauns were always related in the world of fairy tales to Ireland. The leprechaun became their mascot. Now, I know idiots like Max Kellerman have said in the past, and Max Kellerman is, I was going to say he's either just a troll or a moron, but he could be both, has said that should be changed, because even though some Irish people aren't offended by it, others are. I don't know any. We have a number of Irish people here. I'll be interested to see your take. I can't imagine why anybody would be offended. It's talking about a fictional character from Ireland. It's not making a reference to any real person, but people need to be offended by something. Aiden says, Dutchess County Fair. Excuse me. I'm going through puberty again, apparently. You know what happens, guys? With I'm going away in, a week and a half. So I'm getting a lot of videos done ahead of time. And I do so much talking while watching the videos, my voice is just shit. Dutchess County Fair tractor pull tomorrow. Yee! Our fair here, we'll be gone for a lot of it this year because we are going in a week and a half because our fair, the Montgomery County Fair, is the last one of the season. I mean, other than the state fair. And it ends on Labor Day, and that's when we're going away. Wolverine says, Gordon Ramsay has 5 kids. He likes one thing raw. That's not bad. Furious says, my first donation ever. It's, suck my cock. Oh, good to see you again, pal. Okay. I just said he sucked my cock, and I said, good to see you, pal. So, tells you what I do in my spare time. Code says Oklahoma is greater than Notre Dame. Oh, Code. And you've been such a valued member of the community for so long. I'm sorry to see you go. Oklahoma's going to be not only be tough this year, but they need to calm the fuck down with the recruiting. Oklahoma's recruiting is through the roof, especially not even the class of 2022, but the class of 2023 already. They need to calm the fuck down. Andu says, ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12 all combined. Your thoughts? Good move. With the, I think it was almost necessary with Texas and Oklahoma moving to the SEC. Yeah, I personally think it's a good move. I think having things more consolidated, everybody working together, better competition, I think it's a good idea. Lick says, I'm offended by leprechauns. It's my opinion that the Irish don't exist, so implying they are, that they do offend me. Well played, Lex. The Irish and those goddamn Australians pretending they exist. Philip says, you're correct. Okay, so I was right. I wasn't sure if I was remembering that right. Also, the Irish have a long history as warriors. That's true, too. Dating back to the days before St. Patrick. Notre Dame is French for Our Lady. No idea what she's the lady of, though. Okay. Well, thanks. Well, actually, I appreciate that because I hate to give wrong information. And if I had even a whisper of a memory, I would have remembered to look that up before we streamed. But I thought I was remembering that whole, how that all unfolded properly. But yeah, again, I just don't understand it. And I have yet to see an explanation spoken, written down anywhere. How is that offensive in any way? I can't even come up with an idea. I refuse. I know Kellerman said something, but I refuse to read anything he wrote. He's an idiot. So, that's probably why I can't find it. I should read him, even though it's going to be infuriating. Then maybe I could figure out what idiots think. But do you guys have any idea? I mean, how is a leprechaun offensive in any way? Fluffy says Conor McGregor is Irish. I can't. Father says Our Lady. Father Anderson says Our Lady of Potatoes. Now, yeah. Now, if you had called them the Notre Dame potato farmers or something, okay, it might be getting a little personal. But again, the Fighting Irish and a leprechaun, I don't get it. Zeno says, hello, got here now to make a quick exit and need to go to work. Bye. Can you do it for me, please? Please send help. See, well, thanks for popping by while you could, Zeno. As I was reading that, all that came to mind was exit, stage left, because I'm really fucking old. Andu says Max K talks about sports. Hell no, what a joke. Oh, and that's the thing, Andu, with him. I've come to the conclusion. That's why I have no use for him. Is I don't know if he's really just kind of a dope, or if he just does everything as a troll to try and get clicks and generate interest. In either case, I have no use for him. Misag says, did you guys hear the great art called Song of Potato? No, I haven't heard that. I can't even imagine. Okay, Krusty says, I mean, one way I can see them rationalizing it is a reference to dwarfism, as barely sensible as it comes, but hey, they aren't known for making sense now, do they? Yeah, that would be a monstrous reach. A monstrous reach, because there's Notre Dame football team is not known for putting a lot of dwarfs on the field. Just quite the opposite, especially with the way the offensive line recruiting has gone lately. I would like to. I don't know how many of you guys. There's only a few. Well, there's 55 of us in here. I don't know how many of you guys would be interested in it. I thought sometime about maybe live streaming during one of Notre Dame's games. Obviously, I can't put the game on screen, but we could all be watching the game and hang out and chat about it. And if things start to go bad, there's a good chance you guys could see my eventual heart attack. Philip says, we was like the Four Horsemen of Notre Dame, except what would two Jewish guys be doing at Notre Dame? Lucky Luciano about himself, Meyer Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, and Frank Costello. Yeah, that's good, Philip. Good quote. The good old Four Horsemen. I can't tell you how, I guess, just annoyed I get with society and the way it's gone with this need to be offended. I mean, people are so fucking desperate for attention. It's really pathetic. Rick says, I'm going to be very racist today to any Americans who think they're part Irish in chat today. I apologize. We appreciate that, Lex. Throwing the apology out in advance. Wow. Rosa says, what the fuck is going on? I got a notification for a fifth stream in a row. Susan, sorry, Rosa. She didn't mean to do that. Like I say, this many videos a day. Woo, man, my throat is just gone. Code says, Kellerman is just trying to save his job by not offending the minorities, in quotes. Although I've heard he's leaving for stake. Yeah, I guess he's out. It's just going to be, what's his name? Oh my God. Stephen A. His name, I like Stephen A. a lot better than Max. I don't always agree with Stephen A. I just think he's a lot more genuine. I think when Stephen A. says something with which I disagree, it's just because we disagree. I don't think he's saying it for points or for clicks. I think he believes it, and I don't believe that with Max. Last post, if Susan has the courage to show it, Barry says. All right, let me look. Let me see. Are you here, Barry's? Yep. Max Kellerman got fired by ESPN a few days ago. The worst part, who will Stephen A. Smith mindlessly debate? Well, wait a second, though, Barry. He didn't get fired, did he? He just got taken off that show. Unless something was updated. Last I knew, they were just removing him from that show, but he was still going to be with the network. Now, unless something changed. Anbu says, if you had a heart attack and all the chat room came to help and attacked your heart, would it still be a heart attack or attack of hearts? It could be both. I could be having a heart attack while my heart is attacked, right? The semantics could be very important in all of that. LT Hennessy says Notre Dame IRA fighting car bombers. I have a good friend of mine I worked with for years, and he's second generation Irish here in America. And very proud of his heritage, as he should be. But how did he used to put it? He used to say, the IRA, back when terrorism was fun. How about the Notre Dame 1916 Rising Losers, Luke says. Rosa says, Curtis, you are very gratifying to me in peculiar ways. Oh, I like that. This offends me deeply, as I see myself as a religious woman who shall not commit sins of lust. I'm offended by the fact that lust is considered a sin, to be honest with you. Pretty much, Nolan says, white people in America, fighting Irish is offensive. Irish people, quit being such a ninny nature Lucky Charms. I don't, we have an international community here. I have a lot of friends who are of Irish heritage. I have never heard of an actual real Irish person being offended by that. The Irish people I know, again, I guess you can't make sweeping generalities, but the Irish people I know all tend to pretty much have a really sharp, decent sense of humor, so I can't imagine, and no persecution complex. I mean, there are certain groups that feel like everybody is always out to get them, or some group is always out to get them all the time. And I just in my relationships with Irish people, I've never known them to be that way. The Irish are that people that I know are more likely to say, if they feel they're being persecuted by someone, they're more likely to punch you in the face and stop their own, and end the persecution themselves rather than cry about it. Solara says, "Oh, Curtis, did I ever tell you the time Parliament voted to not giving food to children in vulnerable circumstances, like actual poor kids, but they spend taxpayers' money on their own food?" No. Yikes. I don't. I don't know what the circumstances would be surrounding that, but holy fuck. Here's another one. Aaron, hell of a boss. Truth Seekers, episode 6 is out. Watch. Thank you, Aaron. Just because I subscribe to that channel and follow them on social media and stuff, and have watched all the prior videos, it's a good thing you were here to tell me it's out, or I would have never known that. I mean, you and the other 30, 40, 50, 120 other people that have mentioned it so far. Oh, and Mr. Roblox, too. Andrew says, "I am no Irish, and I am not offended." Code says, "People are offended by Notre Dame's mascot. What do they see the old logo of the Celtics, Boston?" I don't remember that. I know my sports history really well. What was before it was the Clover code? You got me curious now. I can't remember it being another. I know my sports history fairly well. I don't remember another icon of the Celtics. Oh. Luxurious Fool says people get offended by the most dumbest things. At 100%. Again, it's become a contest, to see who can be the most offended and find something new about which to be offended, because it scores you a lot of brownie points with other people in that dopey, stupid little echo chamber. They just really feel proud of themselves for being offended. Philip says there's got to be a more offensive name than the Fighting Irish. I mean, we used to have the Redskins, for Christ's sakes, true. It just kills me, Philip. And it was this question was specifically to the mascot. And I have heard whiners before, this way back in the past, about the Fighting Irish, and their complaint there always was, well, it indicates that all Irish people want to do is fight. And it's like, that has absolutely nothing fucking whatsoever to do with the name Fighting Irish, and never did. It only has that effect in your twisted little mind that is looking for a reason to take offense. Anbu says, "Bring back the Redskins. Hashtag am I canceled now?" See, I try and turn things around. When I don't, you guys know that, I don't get offended by much. So I think, and all honesty, okay, let's even take it out of whether in America or in another country, they created a sports team called either the Boston Caucasians, the Boston Crackers, or the Zimbabwe Crackers. I don't care. How's that offending me? I don't give a shit. There's a good chance I might root for the old Crackers. But why? Who cares? And particularly in the case, I mean, I just don't get it. And then when they take it a step further and things like Indians, Redskins, at least you can make the case that that's, disparaging to just refer to somebody by a skin tone. That I get. Would it offend me if I was Native American? No, but I get that. But like Indians, it's just, that wasn't insulting. That was, what Columbus believed he was in India. It might be dumb, it might be misplaced, but I don't see how it's insulting. How about the Boston Mafia? Hanbu says. And Philip says, seriously, what are you going to call Notre Dame if not the Fighting Irish? I mean, yeah, to me, it's a perfect name for the sports teams. It's a perfect moniker because, again, it pays tribute to the fact that the early players tended to almost all be of Irish heritage. It really caught on the Irish community, this whole thing of, football. And the fact that they were tough guys, on the field. They grounded out. They would pound you in the face. So they were the Fighting Irish. I mean, I can't imagine how that would be offensive to anyone. As I similarly can't imagine how a purely fictional character is offensive to someone. Cheesehead said, when they changed the Indians' name, I'm from Ohio, and that just maybe dropped the whole sport. I just don't understand it. I mean, again, okay, Redskins, when you're talking about skin tone, okay, I could see that bothering some people, but Indians the term Indian was never meant to be demeaning in any way, shape, or form. He thought they were from India, and it caught on. I mean, and to me, if, again, I try and put myself in that position, if I were Native American, I would think it was just celebrating the fact that of who they were and that they were here originally, but I don't know. Hey, and On Blue Stream Boss. Anbu says, should the Cowboys logo be a boy riding a cow? Please don't give anybody any ideas, Anbu. Wolverine says, Alfred Molina is returning as Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. You can hear Willem Dafoe's cackling laugh when we see that pumpkin bomb. Oh, really? Yeah, that I'll tell you, that trailer really amped me up. That looks really good. I like that storyline concept of everybody finding out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker and then going to Doctor Strange to get it reversed. I just think that's a neat idea. Bukaki Tsunami says, I think Kellerman is just a dipshit. I prefer Skip. At least he's a self-aware dipshit. I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah, Skip Bayless can be really annoying too, but Kellerman to me is the one that strikes me as entirely disingenuous. I don't think there's anything real about him. I think he says what he says, again, as I said, either to troll or for clicks. I don't buy him at all. Big Green says, at least there's no sports team called the Cotton Farmers. Nolan says, a brand called Milk Bar used to have something called crack pie. I might need that. Now they just call it Milk Bar Pie because they arbitrarily decided crack was offensive to minorities. Now, how would it be offensive only to minorities? So that would be basically saying that it can only be minorities that do crack? Isn't that racist in itself? I personally have known in my life a number of regular old white folks that do crack on the regular. Not the kind of people I generally tend to hang around with, but I know them. So why would that be offensive to minorities? Anybody can do crack, and people from every walk of life do crack. To say it's offensive to minorities, I would say that in itself is much more racist. Anbu says, I almost nutty buddied when I heard Willem Dafoe. That's a quality way around Susan's around Susan's censorship. Nutty buddied. I like that. Yeah, Krusty says, don't ask logical questions. They can't handle it. Not at all. No, they can't. And Dastardly Dildo says, I'd cheer for the Kansas City Crackers. Yeah, me too. I go Crackers. I'd feel a feeling of oneness with them. Father Anderson said, there's tons of white crackheads in the USA. Absolutely. I look at Alabama or Kentucky. Yeah, there are. You're 100% right. That's why sometimes I think the people who want to be the great defenders and stuff out themselves as the racists. Because again, to say that, now you can say you don't like crack pie because you don't like the connotation of it being associated with smoking of crack, But if you say it's going to be offensive to minorities, that makes you the racist, because it's not just minorities that smoke crack by any stretch. Gimster says, yeah, we find the term Indians to be more annoying than offensive because people have been basically calling us Hindus for centuries. Damn Columbus. Well, no, I get that, Gimster. I get that. I look at it from the perspective I look at it as though is intent. And I know people don't want to hear, not you guys, the perpetually offended don't want to hear anything about intent. What I mean was the intent with Indians was never ill in any way. It was just celebrating the Native Americans that were here. And that is, when that name was brought up, that's what they were called. So there was never any ill intent. Now, you could say Redskins was never a positive connotation. So that I get. But Indians, again, clearly, it was never meant to be derogatory. Philip says, I thought only black fellows were drug dealers. He'll apologize for your racism. I'm Irish, sir. Racism is this missed part of my culture. Well, people like to, well, I was going to say forget or just don't know, or both, how poorly Irish immigrants were treated in this country. I mean, it wasn't only black people who were brought here and treated like shit and made, Irish were basically slaves as well at one point. Oh, did it come from one specific person? Sir Blank says Indians came from the Native American who played for Cleveland. Now that wasn't, no, because they had the name before that. Because Jim Thorpe, he ended up playing baseball too, right? Because he was a great Olympic athlete and everything. And he was Native American. But I'm thinking back, and the Indians had that name before him, didn't they? I'm trying to remember now. Somebody will know. Philip will know. Madman says, I'm just getting sick of white people feeling like they need to speak for every race and tell them what they should be offended. I agree with you, Madman. I told you guys in the past, all my years of doing stand-up, and back in the day, my stand-up was much more harsh, more on the edge than it is even now, the stand-up material I write now. And I've had people approach me that were offended, never cared. But I never had a person who was a member of the group I was talking about approach me. It was always some, and in every instance, white person who was offended on their behalf. Just do-gooders out there thinking that someone else can't stand up for themselves and they're going to be the great protector. It never worked out well for them because just like I would do here, I'm no different in real life than I am here. I just mocked them and made fun of them as they were complaining. So I did see that, Barry's, about our new governor here in New York adding 12,000 more deaths in the state. Yeah. Well, we already know about Cuomo and his bookkeeping. Oh, really? I didn't know that, Sir Blank. This one passed me by. The Indians were called the Cleveland Naps before the player. I can't remember his name. I don't think it could have been Jim Thorpe, though. I think the Indians were called the Indians before he came along, I believe. Masag says, we need Curtis as a stand-up comedian. We need a new approach. I tell you, I've been following along. I'm in a local group, Facebook group here, that posts where all the open mics are and stuff. And I've been seriously thinking about dusting off some of my old material and going out and trying out new material as well. I'd like to build like an hour of good solid material like I used to have, and just book some of my own shows. If for nothing else, maybe it could get me around to some places where I could start meeting up with some of you guys. Bukaki Tsunami says, self-righteous white people have been the most annoying group the past couple of years. Couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely agree. Cheesehead says, if they change the Steelers name because it's racist to steal, I'm moving to Canada or UK or something. Factory workers don't want to be known just by what they produce. You call us Steelers, it's like we can do nothing else. Something like that. I could picture it. Philip says, how bad were the Irish treated in America? In 1846, during the Mexican-American War, Irish soldiers deserted to the Mexicans due to Irish Catholic discrimination in the U.S. Army. There you go. I mean, I know the Irish had it terrible here in this country. Terrible. But, again, and I'll make a generality, the Irish are just a very persevering group. Let's see. Rias, hey, Rias Grimmery's back. I'm very upset with the people saying, I'm so glad we got the troops out of Afghanistan. Look how dangerous it is now. Look at all the violence. It's only like that because we left. Yeah. Oh, that was... I will be doing a stream on that, Rias. It was going to be today, but then I came across this and it's like, I can't pass this up. We got to talk about the idiocy of the perpetually offended today. But we're going to talk about Afghanistan. That is a horrific mess. Wow, an amazingly bad move there. Philip says, don't come to Canada. It's much worse here. From what Philip's been telling us, yeah, I would agree. Big Green, but which one is heavier, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers? That's a spin on one of the oldest dad jokes. Yeah, and Lick said the same thing. Don't go to the UK or Canada. It's much worse than both. Well, in both the UK and Canada, and this is from what I read, and more so what you guys tell me, it's really bad. It's bad. It's really bad because they are hinting at what is my personal line in the sand, as I said, where I would be out in the streets, which is squelching free speech. Anybody that wants to start persecuting people for hate speech, I have a problem with, because once you say hate speech is bad, now you're leaving it entirely up to the government, the enforcers, to determine what is hate speech. And that is the ultimate slippery slope. So then hate speech will eventually become anything said that puts the ruling party in anything of a bad light. You could see that happening. Yes, Chrome, the YouTube fuckery was sorted out. I'll give credit where it's due. They did do a timely job of getting to my appeal and realizing that, as we all knew, all of us who'd been in the stream, there was no type of misinformation in there, and so they reinstated the video, took away the strike. I had posted this. All I can figure, I honestly believe, I'd heard other YouTubers theorize this, and I'm starting to think it's the case. Because YouTube has, their low-level frontline workers who are the ones who go in and monitor this shit. And I just think we have somebody who has decided they don't like me. How could you not like me? And it's conversations like this. I'm sure that knowing where YouTube is located and everything, there are plenty of people who are the type who wish to be perpetually offended, who have those jobs, have those positions. And I'm sure I've offended one of them. So basically with our channel, I think we got somebody who's just flinging any shit against the wall they can, hoping to make it stick to us. That painted a pretty picture, didn't it? Gimster says the only Asian coworker that was with us was given the nickname Asian Persuasion. And someone asked him, if I put you on the ground and spin you, would you become disoriented? It's fun in our crew. See, I've found in my lifetime anyway, most people have a sense of humor about who they are. Whether most people that have been in my life, whether it's race, gender, religion, people have a sense. If you're not directly attacking them, if you're making jokes about stereotypes and stuff like that, I've yet to see any number of people that are actually upset about it. Hell, the conversations we used to have in our wrestling locker rooms. I have a good friend of mine in the business who was a black guy, and some of the gimmicks we talked about doing, we always said if we could have gotten away with them, we would have been disowned across the board by every race, creed, and color by the time we were done. Philip says, speaking of, We've got an election coming up September 20th. I'm actually kind of hopeful. Trudeau's digging his own grave. Pray for us. Oh, I would. Yeah, Philip, I'm with you. I would love to see Trudeau ousted. You know what's really surprising here, too, is it's looking like Newsom has a chance of being taken out in California. It's not a great chance, but when the whole thing first came about, when they got enough signatures to do the recall election in California, I was like, okay, it's symbolic, but it's not going to go anywhere. But there is actually a chance I think he could get bounced. That would be hilarious. Rias says, if only I could interfere with mortals. If only. Yeah. Rias, you got to come right over to my house, please. Oh, Tsunami says, hoping Johnny is doing okay. Goddamn Biden. Yeah, I know, Tsunami. I can't wait for Johnny to be back. I'll be really anxious for him to get back here so we know he's all right. I'm sure he'll have some great stories to tell us. Barry says, I applied for a new job because the COVID test one denied me. Oh, shit. That's too bad, Barry. You're enthused about that. It's selling enhanced life insurance benefits. Base pay plus commission for every plan I sell. Work from home 6 hours a day with benefits. Oh, pretty cool. Very good. I hope it works out well for you. Oh, really? Oh, I hadn't heard that. Chrome says, oh, they literally just announced a new Saints Row at GamesCon. It's coming in February. That I have to get. I love Saints Row. Saints Row, come on. Saints Row still has the greatest video game weapon of all time, the Penetrator. I don't know how anything ever will exceed the Penetrator for pure awesomeness. Backdoor Little Joe, that is all. Anbu, he's, and you guys know, I was a late believer that there was some sort of cognitive issue with Biden. Excuse me, because I followed politics for all my adult life, and he's always been such a goof and a gaffe machine. It's like between that and he does have the stuttering problem. It's just, that's just Biden. But no, it's, to me anyway, my opinion, there is clearly something wrong with the guy. It has nothing to do with gaffes. It has nothing to do with a speech impediment. It has to do with the process of continually being in the middle of a sentence or a thought and getting lost. And you see it all the time. And he's lost for good. It's just, he's talking about subject A and he gets all fired up, charged up, gets right into it, and then just, and he vacates. I think there's something wrong. Gimster says the same Asian co-worker said that if anyone wants to talk to him, nobody would know if he's looking at them because he's always squinting. I like when people have a sense of humor about themselves. Not Joe's hair. He says, so the man who was the baby on the cover of that one Nirvana album cover claiming CP? Wish I could say it's right. What do you mean by CP? Copyright? I'm not sure what you mean by claiming CP, Nacho. I know exactly the cover you're talking about. That's why that's really interesting to me. Claiming CP. I don't know what you mean by CP. I'll watch for you to tell me more because I'm curious what you mean. I heard about it, Chrome. I didn't see it. I heard about that. Chrome says, so did you see the Biden press conference yesterday? It was 4 hours late, then rescheduled, was an extra half hour late, lasted 10 minutes, no questions, and ran away. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. I had no idea what CP, what he meant by that. Okay, so we're saying child porn? That's a stretch. Am I remembering that album cover wrong? Let me see. I want to see if I'm remembering the picture. It was pretty mundane if I'm remembering properly. Yeah, what the hell? Nirvana sued by the baby from Nevermind. everybody's just looking to, oh my God, to make a buck or to get some attention, or how is this? How is that child porn in any stretch? What the fuck is going on? It's a kid, a baby naked underwater. There's nothing. I'm concerned that somebody thinks that that is sexual in any way. Who the hell looks at that and says anything about, look at that kid's underwater? I mean, what the fuck? Wow. Barry says benefits like full medical and dental. Oh, hold on, Barry. There you are. Full medical and dental, PTO, advancement opportunity after 4 months tenure are good, but the best benefit is working from home means I'll be able to be in every stream again while paid. Hey, that's awesome, pal. I hope it works out really well for you. And Chrome says, oh, they announced it about 6 minutes ago talking about the new Saints Row game. Gamescom is going on right now, so we'll probably get more announcements. They also announced the new SRPG Marvel game. Hope it's good, unlike the last Marvel game. Yeah, I know. It's always such a crapshoot with any of the games tied to, not even necessarily the movie franchises, but existing characters a lot of times. Am I a Spider-Man fan, Tyre reviews? Yeah, I mean, like I explained in the reaction video, he was the first one, when I was a kid, I was way into the superhero comics. He was the first non-bullish built superhero I really liked. It was Hulk and the Thing, and I liked the guy, the guys who could take down a wall, Thanos. But Spider-Man came along and it's like, this guy's pretty cool. Plus, he was his real world existence was the most relatable and likable, I think. Excuse me. The recent Batman games have all been good. Have they, Big Green? I haven't played a Batman game and I couldn't even tell you how many years. I don't even remember what the last one was that I played. Unrivaled Boxing Talk says, as an Irishman from Dublin, I find it offensive that people are offended by imagination, lore, and fun. There you go. That's where I'm at, my friend. It's stunning to me. As I said, there is absolutely no reference or no relation to Irish people. The relation is to, as Pascal would say, Irish land. The relation is to Ireland, and the fact that, again, in the fairy tales, leprechauns are known to be from Ireland. That's it. There is no relation, no pointing of a finger at any actual real live person. So now we're getting offended by fictional characters as mascots. It's just stunning. Jack Black fan or nah? Anbu says, I like a lot of what he's done. I'm not an over-the-top fan. He's not one of the people in Hollywood that's like, oh, Jack Black's in it, I got to see it. But I do like him. I love the Kung Fu Panda. I think he did a great job in the voicing there. The wrestling movie he did, what was this? I forgot. That was okay. School of Rock was really good. So yeah, I like Jack Black. Philip says, love me some Lucky Charms. Shadow Gamer, them bastards always after me, Lucky Charms. Nolan says, if I were Irish, I'd just be offended that Oregon and Idaho get all the credit for our delicious taters. Well played. Solara says, Curtis, everyone's always talking about how terrible cannibalism is. I mean, come on, we aren't that bad. We enjoy Five Guys. I do. Oh, yeah, you're good point. I will eat up those Five Guys every day. Yeah. True. So cannibalism, maybe it's not all that it was cracked up to be. That's like my good friend Fuzzy. I could tell you guys stories about my friend Fuzzy over and over. I love the guy. He passed away years ago. and he passed away because Fuzzy had a drinking problem his whole life. And it wasn't, he would drink beer, but his drink of choice was hard liquor, was his vodka. And we had a bar in town where I worked, I think it's still there in Amsterdam, New York, called Tuman's. It was obviously the name of the guy who owned the place. And Fuzzy was the simplest, sweetest, and just one of the best people I've ever met. And that was his bar, was Tuman's. And that's what I used to tell him. The only reason you'll give up on Tuman's in a minute as soon as they open a bar called Three Mans, because that's really funny. He was the one, I think I told you about. It's one of my favorite stories. Fuzzy and I were working together on the garbage truck. We're picking that day. And our driver, his name is Sean, is a very good friend of mine. And we were always teasing Fuzzy. We teased Fuzzy about everything and anything. We teased him about being gay, everything. And so we had gone over to the dump to dump our load. Dump our load. And we're going back over across the river to go back to work. And my buddy Sean turns to Fuzzy and he goes, "Hey, Fuzz, what's this I hear about you kissing some guy in a bar last night?" Fuzzy looks over at him and goes, "Which bar?" And Fuzzy was so awesome and so simple. That was genuine. He just... he wasn't concerned about the homosexual overtones or that he was kissing some guy. It's like, which bar did you think I was in? He had to know which bar so he knew whether or not he's more likely to remember which bar he was in than whether or not he was kissing a dude. This Kyle says, honestly, all these people getting offended over this and stuff like the Redskins team name are pansies and should have been condemned as the societal locust they are. Like I say, Kyle, you guys, I've said it all along, you guys know me. There's very little that offends me. I don't care if it's something that directly relates to something I am or whatever the case may be. Like I said, at least the Redskins, you can make a case. Would it, again, if I was Native American, would it offend me? I know myself. No, I wouldn't care. I really couldn't care less. Again, you could name them the Washington Crackers. That's not going to offend me either. But at least you can make, Kyle is Stream Boss too, something of a case against Redskins, but a leprechaun as a mascot for the Fighting Irish? Gimster says there's a comic page that has Wolverine versus Venom, and Wolverine said, "So what? You made Spider-Man cry. I stabbed the Hulk last week. Venom gave up." That's pretty good. No one says, "I'm from Kentucky, so I'm legally obligated to drink at least as much bourbon as I do water." Yeah, I think, good point, Nolan. I think you are. If you're born and raised there, I think, yeah, it's got to be a law, right? Oh. Okay, so is this no, can't be. I have a package coming, and at the same time that I am waiting for this package to be delivered, I get this scam. I had to read through it. The scam text saying your USPS delivery with tracking code is waiting for you to set delivery. So it's just garbage. They just happened to hit me with their scam text at exactly the same time I'm actually waiting to get instructions on a package I have coming. So good timing, but poor execution when you can see through them that easy. Bukaki Tsunami says, "Did you hear that Dylan Roof's death sentence appeal got denied?" Oh, no, I didn't hear that. I said, good, he doesn't deserve to need to exist. I agree 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big supporter of capital punishment. And yeah, that's somebody that needs to be gone. There's no question about it. I know, Chrome, somebody's watching me. Nice job, Scambot 300. Lick says it was well played. Perfectly timed. Kaiser says, "If I want to be offensive to Irish, be an ass who wants to take down our flag because it may offend foreigners. That legit shits on what our ancestors fought for." It's just again we have such we have a society now with a significant number of people who just live to be offended. They need that sweet, sweet camaraderie with the others in their need to be offended little echo chambers. But I mean, the short term analogy for all of it is they're losers. No one says I get ridiculed by my friends for drinking cheap beer. Psh, I'll be damned if I'm going to be judged by someone who thinks Maker's Mark is a good whiskey. Custer's Revenge 2 licks. You guys are funny. Shoot. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up for today. This was a fun stream. Again, today was going to be talk about I know we've been touching on it here or there. Touching in the streams on Afghanistan. But when this whole thing came up with the leprechaun, I had to talk about this. We got to figure out something. We've got to get a concerted movement for people to, en masse, just absolutely ridicule and poke fun at these people who are perpetually offended. Everywhere you see them online, their timeline should be filled with nothing but ridicule and derision. We're going to have to figure out how to get that moving, how to get that in place, because that's what needs to happen. But thank you again for the stream. Again, I got some more things I have to get done, and we have our friends that come over once a week. We hang out. Usually it's Thursdays. Today, this week it has to be Wednesday, so they're coming over later. So I want to get my other stuff tied up beforehand. I shouldn't have said tied up because that'll give a little tip because it's actually taking place in the basement. Well, no, you don't need to know about that. Goose, goodbye. Thanks, Gimster. But yes, it's been a really fun hump day. Even though Wednesdays are blah, listen, Thursday and Friday are right around the corner, and Saturday starts the college football season. Oh, I've got any of you bet college football? I've got a play for you. Nebraska, they're only giving away 7. Everybody's talking about Illinois. I know I'm pausing when I'm supposed to be finishing this up. I'm a college football freak. Over the last several years, I've made a good little bit of money in the first 3 to 4 weeks of the college football season because the lines get screwed, because the lines are set by the bettors, and people are betting on, people make their predictions based on last year. Can't do that in college football. Everything changes too much. But my first big bet of the year is if you bet college football, Nebraska's only given 7 to Illinois, I got to believe they're going to pound them, just obliterate them. Everybody's going, well, Illinois is bringing back almost all their starters. Yeah, they sucked. So, I got news for you. Another year isn't going to make them that much better players. They're still going to suck. All right, that's my tip for the day. Here we go. It's Wednesday sticky stuff. It's been a fun Wednesday. College football season's coming up. It's hopeful sticky stuff today. Here, pompu, sticky stuff for you, 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 with a side of a wager, with the side of something that can make you a lot of money, unless Illinois is a lot better and kicks their ass, in which case I'm deleting the stream and it never happened. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashing like buggy. And as always, most importantly, win, lose, or draw when it comes to college football, it's still awesome. Goose. Goose.